Marilyn, can you see me?
Yes. All good. So I hope the people will be with us. We are soon ready. So here we go.
Okay, good.
I don't know why.
Okay, so sorry, I had to change my location.
Can you go and check if this live streaming is working? I think we have a technical issue here.
It's not yet live yet. It's still preparing.
Okay. But it takes so long time. That's why I'm a little bit confused here.
Yes, it is. Could be a result of network or something. Let me
Why?
check for me as well.
Maybe I should start again.
You can restart. You can restart.
Okay. Why is this? We never had this before. Okay, let us go again.
Are we live yet?
No, sorry. We have, I don't know what Facebook is doing, but we have a problem with the connection live streaming on Facebook.
So I can quickly call.
You can still, yeah, of course. You can still do anything. You will understand when we go live. Why is this so long? Strange. Let me try to start it from here. I don't know. It starts to be annoying now.
Hello?
Hello, everybody.
Okay.
There's something wrong with the connection. It keeps freezing.
Yeah, it keeps
I'm
preparing.
sure it's got it.
It keeps disappearing.
So what I will do is here, I'll check.
Are we live yet?
Not yet. We're not live. We're not yet live.
There's something wrong, yeah?
Live yet.
There's something wrong because it keeps freezing.
It's. I think it's a problem from Zoom. I think.
Who got it? I don't know why it's not connecting. Hold on one moment, please. Chancellor, are you here?
Yes. Okay.
I think we can't go live.
Hi.
There is a problem with the eyes. I will just go forward, I think, and we recorded, we can live stream it afterwards. I don't know, it's not working. Maybe you can try on your side, I can make you host. But on my side is definitely something is from Zoom, I think.
Try it. Let me see. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
Should I try again?
Make me hers. Let me try.
I don't know who. Settings. How is it on your side? Otherwise, we go this way.
Yes. Can start.
Okay, but now you need to make me host again, or at least co-host. Okay, so let me. Can you make me host again?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not okay.
Okay, so now I have data on my other device, so I can
Good.
refer to my slides from my end.
Can you make me host again, please?
Yes, you are.
You made the wrong Africania host. I need the first one to be host.
Okay, let me just
No, I'm not. I can't change the host myself.
Oh, what is it? Okay.
No host. I can make any change.
Host. Okay. Now.
We're ready to start.
Yes, last trial for live. Otherwise, we go like this.
There's an issue with Facebook. We have to go.
Yeah.
Facebook has been having issues since yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Last trial. Otherwise, we go. Ayanda, are you ready? I will play a little music and then we go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely it's not working. Okay. Oh, what is this now?
Chance for a new generation. Give peace a chance for a new generation. There's a power of word. Give me the chance now.
Give it a piece of chance to follow my thoughts. Train your brain while you're believing in God. Not just one thing and here comes another. Unity, you better live with each other. I'm sitting and singing the way I pick up a microphone. Take a look around, you're not on your own. Give it a piece of chance, one love, one nation. Sing it for a new generation.
Give peace a chance for a new generation. Give peace a chance for a new generation. Take me to another world where people will be changing. Give peace a chance for a new generation.
Oh, shit.
Give it a piece of chance, better follow my way. Come and for your enjoyment, don't let the music play. We heal this blues now with only one chance to make a living out of music and dance. Integrate, now everyone, every race. I want to see in your heart, your love and no hate. Give it a piece of chance, one love, one nation. Sing it for a new generation.
For a new generation. For a new generation. Give me a chance for a new generation. Give me a chance for a new generation. Take me to another world where people will be changing. Give me a chance for a new generation.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Give peace a chance. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. For a new generation. Give peace a chance. 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 Give peace a chance.
Give me the chance now for love and understanding.
Hello to you once again, our wonderful audience from all over the world. I'm Ayanda Morpani, your hostess with the mostest, back again with you for another great session with the Masterclass Initiative and our partner, Africunia TV. And today is going to be a lively one, I can assure you that. And we're thrilled that you could join in the conversation today. We want to apologize for the delay in transmission. We had some technical difficulties, but we're used to that now in this new Zoom world. So thank you for being patient with us, because I can tell you it's gonna be worth the wait. We have a great session planned for you today, and it's truly an honor to partner with Africunia TV. Once again, Africunia TV, have it your way. And they enable us to bring this amazing and quality content to you wherever you are in the world today. And today we have an facilitator who's no stranger to this medium, to presenting, to being in the forefront and being online on screen. We have the wonderful Bukola Samuel-Wemimo, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, who is a TV journalist and anchor with TVC News Nigeria. I think some of you may have seen her and may be familiar with her. So I look forward to introducing her in a bit more detail in just a short while. Her topic for today is elocution. And, you know, it's such a funny subject, because I remember a long time ago, there used to be this British program called Mind Your Language. And it was a politically incorrect series. She's smiling because she knows about people learning English from different parts of the world. And it's quite humorous. So it's going to be fun today, everyone. You know, making fun of some of these stereotypes we have and looking at elocution and what's acceptable. And I have some questions, because coming from South Africa, as some of you may know, you know, we have different types of accents. So I'm looking forward to hear what our facilitator, Bukola, has to say. So over the next 2 hours, we will have a 1-hour presentation by Bukola on this subject, and then followed by a 30-minute Q&A session where you, our wonderful audience, will get the opportunity, you know, to have your say on this matter. When it's time to ask a question, you can it out in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we will be happy to address you directly. Before I introduce our speaker, let's have a quick commercial break and we will be right back. Welcome once again, everyone. And if you've just joined us, warm welcome to you. Thank you for being part of this conversation today. Our topic is elocution with the wonderful Bukola Samuel-Wemimo, all the way from Nigeria, who is an anchor for TVC News. Just a few house rules before we start. All microphones will be muted apart from mine and the facilitators so that we avoid any interruptions during this time. We hope that there will be no hacking today, so please be careful not to press any buttons that would lead us in the wrong direction. We will be recording the session, so if you want to catch it some other time or share it with some friends of yours, we welcome you to do that. We know that we have a wonderful audience on Facebook watching us today. Welcome to all of you as well. We welcome you to follow us on all our social media platforms so that you can keep up to date with all the future events and all the news coming up via Africania TV and the MasterClass initiative. So those are all the points I have in advance, as house rules. But now I'd like to very much introduce to you our esteemed facilitator and speaker today, Bukola. She is, as I said, a broadcast journalist with TVC News Nigeria. She's one of the hottest presenters on, and she's beautiful. I mean, she looks amazing. You look great. Weekly, she anchors a program called Fireworks, a fiery TV program where she challenges people on her show. And she runs commentaries during live broadcasts while doubling up as a reporter and a program producer. Warm welcome to you, Bukola. I'm a junior compared to you, as a moderator. You're far more experienced, and we're so pleased that you could join us today. Good to have you with us, and I'm looking forward to what you have to say, and I know the audience as well is looking forward to it. So I hand over to you right now.
Thank you very much, Ayanda, and you are a very gracious host. And as far as journalism is concerned, I don't think there's anything like senior. Yes, we acknowledge those who've been in the field before us, but as we say in journalism in these parts, I don't know about South Africa, you're as good as your last presentation. Amazing. So we're all colleagues. It's good to be here. I feel so honored. And while you went on about my bio, I was wondering if I was the same person. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone from Nigeria. I apologize on behalf of my colleagues at Africania TV and all the other social media platforms for starting behind schedule. It was due to some technical hitches. We had actually started test running since about 1:38 or 1:40 p.m. So thankfully, we have it all sorted out. So I'm here today to talk about elocution with specific focus on accent neutralization and some speech defects. It's just dawned on me that this is an international audience. I actually prepared for a Nigerian audience. But what I'm about to say, what we're about to discuss will apply to everyone, I assure you. So, amazing. I am Bukola. Yes, I am Bukola Koka Samuel-Wemimo, as Ayanda said. Surprisingly, October this month makes it my 19th year in the profession. So this is significant doing this. And I'm glad to have been invited and to be the one doing this, because I'm sure a lot of people are equally qualified, if not more. I always say that broadcast journalism is the best profession in the world. No offense to those from other professions who happen to be on this platform, but it's an expression of solidarity because of the unique opportunity to nurture, to build, and to shape society using words. So it's an honor to be a broadcast journalist. Apart from what I'm doing now, as Ayanda said, I do presentation here at TVC. I'm a presenter. I am a reporter. I also teach elocution, and I'm a producer, a program producer. So it's a calling into one field with a lot of parts to explore, to express oneself. So I want to express some of the things that I have found, some of the experiences I have gathered over time. I want to share them with you now as I bid you welcome once again. So what is elocution? Elocution.
Before you start, I just wanted to say most of us thought journalism was about reporting on gossip and celebrity news.
Please say that again.
I'm saying most of us see journalism as reporting on gossip and celebrity news and what's happening, what's trending.
Oh, no. It's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that. We're the fourth estate. We have as much responsibility to build society as the executive does, as the legislature does. That's why we're called the fourth estate. We are the ombudsman of the society. So we have a responsibility to nurture, to shape, and to build society. So in these times where journalism is particularly challenging, it takes your dedication, your passion to be committed to the profession, the challenges regardless. And when I say challenges, I mean the current socioeconomic and political issues shaping our society. Fake news, oppression, repression, and from government and from all other aspects of the society, that it compels you to choose the right or the need to publish certain stories. So it's a lot more than gossip and glamour and all that. So let's start off. Passion is what drives what I'm doing now. And I hope to be able to ignite some of that fire into some of you watching, listening to me today. So what is elocution? Elocution is the skill of clear and expressive speech, especially of distinct pronunciation. So they call people like us elocutionists. And there's a growing community of elocutionists, even in Nigeria today, who are not necessarily broadcast journalists, but they prize themselves as elocutionists, teaching you to speak right, to speak confidently, teaching you to be a distinct public speaker. And I'm sure you find such people, category of practitioners in other parts of the world. So it is the art of careful public speaking using clear pronunciation and good breath control. It is a skill, it is an art. An art is a way of life. A skill is acquired through training. So talent is not always enough. Having a flair to speak, to engage, to command and control an audience is not enough. You have to hone that skill and become an expert and become sought after in that field. Now, art is the expression of creative skill. A skill is acquired through training. I've said that already. So talent is not always enough. In this case, the English language is our medium. It is a process of learning to speak right using the English speech sounds. Now, I'd like to believe that elocution cuts across languages, The same way we deploy language as our first language because we're an Anglophone country, we're colonized by the British. The same way other nationals who have other languages as their first language deploy, have courses like Elocution, teach people clear expression of their language. So it just happens that language, the English language is our tool, is our medium of communication and expression in this regard. We use the English language in Nigeria because we're an Anglophone country, but the same cannot be said of other parts of the country. Ayanda is, for instance, is from South Africa. In South Africa, there is the Dutch, there is the English language, and there are also other varieties of languages. And there are also other South Africans of different extraction, for instance, Indian South Africans, so who claim the South African nationality, but English is our medium today. To become adept at any language, it has to come from within. It has to come from here. When elocutionists speak, they always, hit the diaphragm. It has to come from within. So elocution is just one aspect of training for broadcast journalism. It is not the totality of it. Now that we know what elocution is, let's go to some speech defects in English language. Now, I always thought that this is a particular defect peculiar to Nigerians, but I was going through YouTube videos on effective communication just last night as I prepared for this, and I wanted to know how the British articulated the glottal sound H. Now, if I asked some of our listeners, viewers to articulate this, they would probably say H. For my Yoruba brothers, I'm a Nigerian from the southwestern part of the country. So I am Yoruba. Some of my Yoruba brothers, in our language, the alphabets, we have the H alphabet in isolation. Ha. So we have an excessive use of deployment. We have an excessive deployment of the alphabet H when we speak. So we find ourselves articulating it with words that don't necessarily carry H. So if you go to the third slide, you would see that I've highlighted some of those words. So I thought, oh, this is a unique problem to Yoruba people. But when I was watching that video, it was a British guy that was asking someone, a co-British national, to articulate the word H. And he went on H, 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 H. So speech defects is a global problem, or are global problems for all nationals of every country of the world. I have had colleagues who hail from certain parts of Africa. I don't want to be direct now, so I don't give some people away, who also have, not Nigeria now, who also have this challenge. Now, my objective for every elocution class I teach is to make everyone comfortable in their own skin, whatever the speech defect that you have, whatever the inadequacy in expression that you have, because really we're all growing. So clarity is essential and trumps accuracy when you are communicating in whatever environment, be it a formal environment or an informal environment. So clarity is essential. Be comfortable with however manner you come across. The most important thing is for you to be natural. So the first speech defect is the H intrusions and omission. So when we speak, we articulate certain words, we eliminate the H where the H is supposed to be, or we have an excess, we apply an excess of the H where it is not needed. For instance, the word high, which means it is above. We would say I instead of high. And this is very, very common. For instance, the word hit, we would say it. And it's very common in my part of the country. Instead of Babatunde, can we play it? So that those who have that challenge can identify themselves. In that video, I engaged some of my students in a form of exercise during which we articulated the words that had the H and the ones that didn't have the H. So we went ahead, back and forth, took turns in trying to master the ones that didn't have. We can identify them settings when we're speaking and overcome them with practice. So the best way to overcome H intrusions and omissions is practice, practice, practice. So if we have that video, you're going to laugh a little, but it's a classical example of how you can overcome H intrusions and omissions in communication. So if it's ready, let's go ahead. If not, let me start, by showing you what we tried to do in that video. For instance, where you have high, you also have a variation of that word that doesn't carry the H, which is I. So high is different from I. You have ham, which you use to eat bread, but you also have an am. You have had. You also have add, to increase or add. The television ad, advertisement, the short form is ad. You have heat, and you have eat. You have hate, and you have ate. So in overcoming H intrusions and omissions, you practice, practice, practice. You go high, I, ham, am, hit, it, had, add, heat, eat, hate, ate. The faster you're able to go through this, the more adept you become at overcoming H intrusions and omissions. So let's go. High, I, ham, am, hit, it, had, add, heat, eat, hate, ate. How was that? Not fast enough. Let me try again. High, I, ham, am, hit, it, had, add, heat, eat, hate, ate. Faster? Let me try again. High, I, ham, am, hit, it, had, add, hit, eat, hate, ate. Did I make a mistake? I'm getting better. So that's the best and the only way to overcome H intrusions. I'm sure a lot of people who have that problem can identify themselves. So wherever you find yourself, don't say else, but health. Don't say always, but always. Don't say also, but also. Health, always, also. And the words abound that carry H, that you can emphasize the H, you need to emphasize the H, and there are words that abound that you don't necessarily need to emphasize the H. Let me see.
Bukola, while you're looking, doing that exercise is like a tongue twister,
Okay, is the video ready now? I'm trying to go to the next slide.
Madeline,
if the video is ready.
Madeline, are we able to play the video?
Yes, but I don't have it in the first place.
Mr. Babatunde has it.
I made you co-host, Babatunde, so you will be able to share it.
Well, I find it very difficult to share my screen. I think I posted the video on the Telegram page.
Okay, I will try to find it. Okay.
It's the last file I posted on the group page on the Telegram. The video that I have a board, a whiteboard, just about.
Is it with the whiteboard, right?
Okay. Let's make progress if we don't have it.
So we
Shall
have
we?
the video. I think I tried sharing from my hand here. Okay.
Okay, Madeline, are we able to play the video?
Yes, one moment. I don't know if it's this, but let me share it with you.
Okay, great.
One little moment.
Okay, as we wait for the video, there are other words that you should also note. There is his and there is. His and is. His for the male. This is his. This book is his. And there is. This is interesting. There is hand and there is and. Hand, I'm writing with my hand. And there is and. The conjunction, I believe, this and that. There is there is our, and there are some that are like homonyms. That is different spelling, homophones, different spelling, but the same pronunciation. Our. So our for timing and our, the preposition, I believe, O-U-R, they are the same pronunciation. There is also hill and ill. On a hill far away and ill. If you're ill, don't come to work. There is has and there is as. Has and as. She has it. And there is as good as new. And there is hat and at. Hat, which you wear to church, or when you just want to be casual, and there is at. She's at school. There is hate. We already referred to that, and there is 8. Sorry, 8, the number. And 8. That will be 8, I beg your pardon. 8, the number, and then there is 8. So, for my...
Should I play the video?
Kith and kin who would say, I hate you. Don't hate him, don't hate him, but hate him. But don't hate him, just love. And there is 8, the number. Number 8, not number 8, as some would say. And you can use the linking R in expression, which makes you more elegant, more poised. Number 8. Number 8 is better. There is also the words abound. There is his, is. Okay, we've gone through that. Now, other speech defect, lisp. I'm moving on now. I'm exiting H intrusions and omissions to another speech defect, lisp. Should I continue or wait for the video?
Yeah, the video is ready. Let me show it.
Okay.
I, you, all.
Can you believe I was not recording? No. I just started recording.
Final take.
Okay, final take now.
Yes. Has, our, also always hi. I take again. Has as, also always hi, his is, here, hand, had, hi, ill, hair, all.
Great, good attempt. Okay, next person.
Has, our, also, always, hi, his is, here, hand, had, hi, ill, hair, all.
Great.
Right.
Okay.
Has as, our, also, always, hi, his is, here, hand, had, hi, ill, hair, all.
Good, good. Okay, let me try. Has as, our, also, always, hi, his, is, here, hand, and, had, hi, hill, ill, hair, whole, all. Can we do it together now? Has as, our, also, always, hi, his, is, here, hand, and, had, hi, hill, ill, hair, whole, all. Great, okay. All right, so how did you find that? I wish I could get some feedback. Hi, hello. Can I get some feedback?
Sorry, Ayanda, there is something with your voice or with the connection.
Yes, yes.
Ayanda, there is something with the connection. Today is the day of the technical issue. I have to.
Don't worry, it will be resolved. It's got to be resolved. It must be resolved. It has to be righted. Because we're doing something good here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm back.
I can hear you loud and clear. I'm sure Ayanda's zone will become clear as
it's good
okay,
because
you can hear
we
me?
have.
okay.
Apologies about. Okay, good.
Okay,
I was just
Ayanda,
saying
you were
that it's like a
speaking.
tongue twister, you know? Yes, I was saying it's like a tongue twister.
Yes.
As you're doing it, it's so unnatural, you know? It takes time, I think, to be able to do that comfortably.
Yes, absolutely. That's why it's a speech therapy. For those who have the H intrusions and omission challenge, that kind of therapy will help them become conscious in their speech and overcome the intrusions and omissions. So where they need to apply them, the glottal sound is applied. Where they don't need them, it is eliminated. It is eliminated in words like also, always, and the likes. So
Bukola,
having
sorry,
dealt effectively with the
sorry to interrupt you. We have Theophilus who raised his hand and wants probably to ask a question.
Theophilus should send his question as a chat.
On the chat,
I'll address
yes.
questions. We have a long way to go.
Okay.
Yes, we have a long way to go. All right, so the next speech defect or affectation that I'd like to address is called lisp. Lisp. When someone has a lisp, it is a defect or affectation. More often than not, the lisp is a defect where the vocals, the oral cavity or the vocals of a particular person does not develop fully. I say this, let me define it first of all. The lisp is a defect in which the S is pronounced like the fricative S. The S sound is articulated as the fricative S. That is the lisp. So there's another kind of lisp as well, where the Z sound, the voiced Z sound, is articulated as S. No, sorry, where the fricative S is articulated as Z. So we find our brothers from the north here in Nigeria, they would say Zafiful, Z, instead of the. So that is a type of lisp. I say that it is more of a defect than an affectation because it is found where children growing up, learning to speak, where their oral cavity is not fully developed, and they use the S sound for the S. My son had it, but he overcame it as he grew. He's 7 years now, and he doesn't have the lisp anymore. But he would say, "I'm sorry, mommy, I'm sorry," instead of "I'm sorry." He would say, I'm sitting down, I'm sitting down," instead of "I'm sitting down." So we find some adults these days having the lisp challenge. In some cases, it's an affectation, but more often than not, it is a speech defect. But if you have the lisp, please don't get conscious. Don't develop a low self-esteem. What's important is what you have inside that flows from within. If you have knowledge of the subject in whatever field, whichever environment that you find yourself speaking, or whatever type of professional that you have, it is what you have to offer that matters. So that's the lisp. There is also a type of speech defect that, again, my brothers from the Southwest have. I don't know what to call this now, but they cannot articulate the fricative, the fricative S. They would give it the fricative sh, they would give it the voiceless S. So you find them saying, for instance, I'm looking at a word just opposite me, it's mission, but some of my brothers would say mission, or they would say there's a kind of alcohol in Nigeria that a lot of men like, and there's an alias for the alcohol. They would say sign bobo instead of shine. They meant to say shine bobo. It's an alias for that kind of drink, but they would say sign bobo. So my brothers from Osun, you know yourselves, but really don't get less confident of who you are, or don't have less confidence in yourself just because you have a speech defect. It's just for us to note these things, particularly because we communicate officially with English language. So we can identify those areas where we have one defect or the other, and then try to grow, try to become better, try to hone our speaking skills, try to develop an ear for language so we know where we're falling short. But we don't look down on any of our friends or colleagues just because they have a speech defect, one speech defect or the other, because they are bound from people to people and country to country. Now there is another one, rhoticism. Rhoticism may refer to an excessive or idiosyncratic use of the letter R, the inability to pronounce or difficulty in pronouncing the letter R, or the conversion of another consonant into R. Our African brothers from Sierra Leone fall into this category. In fact, fall hugely into this category. Now, for those from Sierra Leone and from France too, they have this challenge. I usually say that our friends from Sierra Leone can't even articulate the name of their country well because of rhoticism. They would say Sierra Leone, the consonant R, they would say, by the way, the consonant R is a semi-vowel sound as well. They would say, for instance, I'm looking at a word just opposite me, it's through. They would say through. They would say, I would say broadcasting, they would say broadcasting. So, and it abounds. Then they would say there's experience, but our friends from Sierra Leone would say experience or experience, as the case may be. But the truth of the matter is, it's not just those from Sierra Leone and France that have the rhoticism problem. There are some people that are born with an inadequacy of the ability to articulate the rhoticism problem, the letter R rather. And it varies in the degree of inability, of their inability to articulate it. Some would say al, but some would say ow, ow. But rarely the word is R. The letter rather is R. Let me just.
Bukola, I mean, isn't it also partly because they're French speaking? So French speakers tend to, obviously the R sound for them is different, or it has nothing to do with that.
Whether they're French speakers or not, it's interpreted in English language as a speech defect. Because the English doesn't know that I am Yoruba and I have an excess of the alphabet, that I have the alphabet H and I have that challenge, which makes me apply it in excess to certain words and eliminate it in words that require it. So whether they're French or not, is just a challenge that we acknowledge because we're using the English language as our means of communication.
Yeah,
so you can't say that it's the same thing for the Sierra Leoneans. They can't articulate the letter R. Okay, so now that we know the speech defects, what are those elements in communication, in public speaking that we need to apply to help us stand out as public speakers, as presenters, as ambassadors of brands? What are those elements that we require? This is what we call in elocution features of connected speech. Just give me some time.
While you're doing that, Bukola, Madeline, is it possible to just share the presentation on behalf of Bukola so that some of our audience maybe would like to follow visually on what she's talking about?
Okay.
So you like me to share this?
That would be fun.
Yeah, I think so. So because some of them visually would like to, I think visually for some people, it makes more sense if they can see.
They can see, yeah, absolutely, I agree. Okay, so as we wait, let me proceed. We have a lot of ground to cover. English speakers speak in connected speech. That is, we're speaking on broken sequence, either in prepared speeches or when we're speaking extempore. If you're in class, you could be called upon to speak on any subject. You could be asked to talk about yourself. Toastmasters Club, one of the things they do is drill you in public speaking, help you gain confidence. So you could be asked to talk about yourself. You could be asked to talk about culture. You could be asked to talk about your country. So we speak you're speaking on broken sequence, either in prepared speech or extempore. So public speaking prepared or done extemporaneously possesses some attributes. We already know these attributes, we know these features, but I want to bring them out, bring them alive in our minds now. So we know those things that are in it that we require, and then we become more conscious of them when we want to begin to speak henceforth after now. So diction is a style of speaking or writing as dependent upon your choice of words. It is also the quality of your accent, your inflection, your intonation, your speech sound quality as manifested by you, the speaker. So I always say that diction does not consist of in your ability alone to articulate those words perfectly, your ability to say workforce, what are those words? Diction, assume, associate. It's not just that. It also consists in your ability to use a variety of words that make you shine, that step out in any setting. The other one, there is also rhythm. Rhythm is a rise and fall of a presenter's voice in speech pattern. I could pick a script. Do I have any script here? Okay. Let me just look for something to read.
I have the slide ready.
This is a very practical class. Now, for instance, this is my intro for one of the editions of my program from last week. So imagine I'm starting off fireworks, and I did this. Welcome to Fireworks, the coming governorship election on those State, which is less than a month away, is our subject of discourse today on Fireworks, the series of events unfolding here, specifically the defection of the state's deputy governor to two political parties is unprecedented. The closest to this was in 2007 when the former governor went against the ruling people in the state, led by the Dr. Olusegun Agagu, using the Labour Party platform. Well, you know how that turned out. But as we wait for 2020 turnout, let's find out the real. Have I communicated?
No.
A million times no. That was balderdash. That was noise. But rhythm stands the presenter out. So I know that we know this. We already knew this, that there are certain elements that we require in communication when we're interacting with colleagues, with friends. Well, I always say that an interview is nothing but a very good conversation. Effective, style of speaking in such a way that you understand and you're understood. So rhythm, again, is a rise and fall of the presenter speaker's voice in speech pattern. It is a tool deployed by presenter, speaker, for effect to command attention in presentation. It is related to pause, the strategic pause, but it is not the same. And I'll show you why. The same script that I just read, I'll read it again. Welcome to Fireworks. The coming governorship election in Ondo State, which is less than a month away, is our subject of discourse today. The series of events unfolding there, specifically the defection of the state's deputy governor to two political parties, is unprecedented. The closest to this was in 2007, when the former governor went against the ruling party in the state, led by Dr. Olusegun Agagu, using the Labour Party platform. Well, you know how that turned out. But as we wait for the 2020 turnout, let's find out what the ruling party this time around is doing to ensure that history favors them. What's the difference?
I mean, you came across, I think, calm, rhythm, as clear, as you said earlier on, clarity, lots of clarity. So we can understand what you're saying. You're conveying message. Yes.
Because there's some keywords that are signposted in the script. I need to signpost them. And when you signpost words, the pitch of your voice on those words is higher than the pitch of your voice when you first started, because there are keywords that help to communicate the message from the script. So rhythm is a very, very important feature in connected speech. There is also pitch. Pitch is the degree of loudness or lowness of a presenter's voice in delivery. Is the degree of loudness or lowness of a presenter's speaker's voice in delivery. The pitch must match the content of the script or tone of delivery. If, for instance, you had an obituary to read, to deliver as a spot for a radio station, even for a television station, you are asked to voice over an obituary, and you went, "We regret to announce the death of Pa Ajashi today. We regret to announce the death." That pitch could cost you your job. Just after reading that script, just clear your locker and leave that broadcast organization. So that kind of pitch could cost you your job. An obituary is a solemn event, is a solemn announcement. So it requires it demands a requisite mood to interpret it. The same for the pitch of your voice, the degree of loudness of your voice. Now, news anchors are very guilty of, surprisingly, of using the wrong pitch for sad scripts. And it is because of the unpredictable nature of news bulletins. You could go from a very serious-minded or tragic story, like insurgency in Nigeria, for instance, to, okay, let's start from the economy. You could go from a very upbeat story about the economy, for instance, to a very sad insurgency story where 46 children were beheaded. So when you're doing the economy story, which is good news, and you deployed the necessary pitch to interpret that script, and you went to the insurgency story, you have to be able to be conscious of the need to transit your mood and your pitch to match the content of the next story. That is how and why pitch is essential, very, very important in connected speech. So if you're a news reader, if you're a presenter, make sure your eyes move faster than your mouth. Your eyes must move faster than your mouth. Now there is prestige pause. I learned something in the last 24 hours, strategic pause, which is very, very effective in communication. Prestige pause is, as it suggests, the degree of prestige the presenter attaches to his name in introduction. When I was, as I said earlier, it's been 20 years since I started the job. So I used to be Bukola Coker before I became Bukola Samuel-Wemimo. So I used to enjoy, in fact, a lot of people still know me as Bukola Coker because of the way I articulated my name. I deployed in excess, measure the prestige pause to my name because I loved the brevity and beauty in my maiden surname. So a lot of people knew me then, Bukola Coker. So a presenter, because your name is the most important aspect of you. Your name is you. Your name is the first thing people remember about you. As a matter of fact, if you met somebody for the second time after a very long time and you don't remember their name, some people get offended. So your name is very, very important. So you must attach the necessary measure of prestige pause to your name. I am Ayanda Moropani. Did I get that?
Oh, I like it. Yes.
Okay. I am Bukola Samuel-Wemimo. A lot of presenters just throw their names away when they have that opportunity to be on the air, presenting a script, a bulletin, or a program. Some of my colleagues, I don't hear their surname, and your name is, I can't say it enough. Your name is so, so, so important. But some names just disappear. So when next you're on the air, presenting a program, a news bulletin, make sure when you have that one opportunity to say your name, say it with the prestige pause. Now, before I do color, let's do, color is the last thing. Let's do tone. Tone is the mood of presentation as reflected in the presenter's speaker's voice and delivery. Therefore, a speaker or a presenter must learn to interpret any given script. So as I talked about the obituary earlier, and pitch, tone is the mood. The tone you use to deliver sports news, for instance, is different from the tone you would use to deliver very serious political stories or serious business stories. So I always say that it is the artist in me that makes me shine as a presenter. So there is a measure of art in each and every one of us that allows us, that distinguishes us as presenters. We're not just straight-jacketed, serious people like the engineers who carry their hard hats and go to the field. That's why some of us as celebrities, we're some type of thespians, if you ask me. We're different brand of thespians. The only difference, what distinguishes us from the real thespians, is that we don't do drama in a lot of in abundant measure as they do, but we do in some form of measure, very, very light, but it's there. So tone is the mood. So the mood for the delivery of business stories, political stories, is different from the mood we deploy to delivering sports stories. Sports is action-packed, it's exciting, it's close to entertainment. So, the mood you use to deliver the entertainment type of stories is also different from that which you deploy when you're delivering serious stories. There is style. Style is so interesting. Style is the manner adopted in presentation. Style is diverse. Style depends on the house style that you find in broadcast organizations. Now we're speaking field specific now. You could be a pastor, you could be a marketer, and you're here watching. Your style is also essential, but your style depends on your unique eccentricity. If you're a marketer and you are melancholic in temperament, you need to think again about that profession, because you need a bit of the sanguine, the happy-go-lucky kind of person in you to do your job effectively. So style is essential. Now, for instance, the house style in my organization is for you to be serious, no drama, no triviality. But you find that in some broadcast organizations, there are some people that are very, very physical, very active. They're everywhere. The CNN's Richard Quest, for instance, is an actor. He's everywhere on your screen.
Yes.
He's everywhere on your screen. Aaron Hazelhurst from the BBC too is an actor. He's everywhere on your screen. And the funny thing, the irony of it is a business news presenter. Quest 2 is a business news presenter. Yeah. But they allow the expression of their unique personalities. And that's what we should give those broadcast organizations credit for. No offense to others like mine, where you have to be serious and where we all have to look the same. That's our outlook. So if you have too much of that sanguine in you, you have to keep it controlled. You have to keep it measured. You have to keep it under. The spirit of the prophet is under the prophet, as we say.
Bukola, just on that point, what style inspired you?
Okay, that's a very good question.
When you started, who did you look up to? Personally, for myself, I like Aman Paul. Christiane Amanpour, I like her style.
Okay, that's a very good question. I wouldn't say that I looked up to anyone particularly in terms of style, but in terms of professionalism. So I liked, I still love the living legend, Ruth Benamisia Opia. She was one of the earliest newsreaders at our old and national television station, NTA, Nigeria Television Authority. I watched her a lot. I practically devoured how she articulated her words. I've only met her once, surprisingly. And you'd be surprised that I also love and still love Joke Silva. She's not a newsreader. She's not a journalist. She's an actress known all over the world. But I like her diction. She's very clear, very articulate, and she's got great depth too. She's not just a face for the screen. She's a mind. That's what I love about Joke Silva. So these are some of the people that I looked up to as I, aspired to become a broadcast journalist. I also loved Jumobi Adegbeson, now Jumobi Mofedamijo. She used to present a music program at AIT, the first private, independently owned broadcast station in the country back then. So these are some of the people that I watched, that I looked up to, not necessarily watching them for their style of presentation, but their expression. Perhaps I've always been a word person. I pride myself to having an ear for languages. Yeah. So if I applied myself a lot more to some languages in my country apart from my own, I'm sure I'll be able to add an extra language to my collection of languages.
Amazing.
Okay. All right. So where were we? There'll be time for questions.
Style. So we're moving to color.
Yeah. So color. Color is the outcome of a speaker's delivery, which could either be impressive or bland. That's why I wanted to leave it till the last. Color is the outcome of a speaker's delivery in communication, which could be either impressive or bland. So it's the outcome of your whole effort. You've been working hard, preparing this speech. At the end of the day, how did it come across? Was it interesting? Was it engaging? Did you carry them along? Or was it boring? Were people sleeping from the beginning? So color. There is also tone of finality. I wonder if it's here. Tone of finality. When a presenter, speaker wraps up in delivery, the tone of finality is reflected to demonstrate that he or she has landed, has ended. That's the tone of finality I just deployed now. So when you're starting off a script, for instance, the beginning of your script says, English speakers speak in connected speech. That's the start of a script. It's a high rise. You want to command attention. But as you're coasting home, you're arriving your destination. You should deploy the tone of finality such that your audience knows that you're guiding them through to the end. And as you guide them through to the end, you can use some form of pauses. You can choose your words. Your words can be measured, but the tone of finality is a lot lower than the high-rise tone you use when you're starting off a script. Okay, so where next are we headed now? We've done features of connected speech, we've done speech defects, and we've defined elocution. Now, before I go to the last part, which has about 5 pages.
Is that where you are, sir? Is that where you are?
I'd like to...
Hello?
Hello?
I think somebody
okay, someone's audio.
Yes, sorry.
Yes. Sorry. I'd like to say that what makes us effective English speakers is articulation, is pronunciation. but we can't possibly go through all of the speech sounds. If you want to learn the speech sounds, you need extra one-on-one speech therapy sessions for you to learn the speech sounds. But I'll just take you through some commonly mispronounced words in English language. My Nigerian brothers will find themselves here. I don't know what obtains in South Africa, but I'm sure a lot of people will find themselves one way or the other in these category of how you're probably mispronouncing some words. So let's go. Googl. Googl.
Google.
Yeah, Google.
Google.
I used to say goggle. The goggle is different.
Yes.
The
Goggles.
is some form of glasses. Yes, so it's Google. There is also, how do you say this? The next word.
We can't see it.
Okay, let me raise it. But you have the document with you. You have the slide. So you can refer to it. Can you see it now?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Good. Yes, some people would say Facebook. They use the local tone to articulate it. Okay, so the next word.
Instagram.
Did you see the next word?
Instagram.
Okay, good.
Instagram.
That's the word. Instagram. Yeah,
But
some people say
did you hear,
Instagram.
Bukola, did you hear how Babatunde pronounced it?
No, I didn't.
Instagram.
There is a nasal. There is a nasal after the letter I. So the nasal has to come out. Instagram. Instagram. Some people would say Instagram. They will articulate the A that comes after the T. But this is a sure. That's why I said we can't go through the speech sounds. This is a sure. So it's very, very lazy. Instagram. This vowel is a sure sound. This is what it's called in phonetic speech sound. SHWA, it's a schwa. So it's very, very lazy, and it's the most elegant sound in English speech sound. Well, according to me, the most elegant sound. So it's Instagram. All right, very quickly. What's the next word now?
How about Twitter?
Are we ready? Yeah, that's it. Can I hear? You can. Some of you can unmute now, as long as we can't hear anything else but your voice.
Twitter.
Those are the Americanas. Somebody else. Can I hear someone else?
Twitter.
Come on.
Twitter.
Okay. You tried?
Twitter.
If you want to go the American way, you could do Twitter. But it is Twitter. Twitter. This sound is another type of short neutral. The lips spread when you articulate it. It's like you're saying fix, fit, fit, fix, sit. You know, there is sit and there is seat. There is fix, there is fit, going into a fit of anger. So the sound here is Twitter. But when you are tweeting, you know, it's from the word is from the bird. When you're tweeting, it's tweet, it's the long E But when you articulate the name of the app, the social networking app, it is Twitter. Twitter. So did we get it now?
Yes.
Twitter. Now the next word, I always have to wipe so you can see the board.
Barrier.
Good. Barrier. Barrier. A lot of people say barrier. It's not barrier. Social barriers. Barrier. Okay. So now you know. The next word is Ayanda, don't help anyone this time.
Tentative.
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 Anyone else?
Tentative.
You're all wrong. You're all wrong. The stress is here. Tentative.
Yes, tentative.
Tentative. Okay. The stress is on the initial word. Now the next one is tentative. Let me write in caps. Tentative.
Tentative.
Yes. Good.
Tentative.
Tentative. So can you see the next word?
Roster.
Somebody else.
Rooster.
Another
Give it a try,
person.
audience. Let's hear more voices.
Let's hear more voices. You can unmute now.
Rooster.
Roaster.
Okay, you all got it wrong. It's roster.
Oh, I can't see. I can't see any. I can't see anything.
Okay, but you can refer to this. I think it was shared on this roster. It's roster. I have been rostered to read the news this evening. Roster. So next time, don't roast it. It's roster. Okay. So now you know. The roast, if you would roast, this is roast, R-O-A-S-T, roast. But the schedule for work, the work schedule is called roster. Okay?
Roster.
Now the next word
Roster.
is can you see?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone, can you see, audience?
I can't see anything.
There we go.
S-W-O-R-D.
Sod. Sod.
Good.
Sod.
Good. But don't be too harsh on the word. Don't be too harsh on the word. It's sword, not sword. And not sword. Sword.
Sword.
Sword.
Sword.
This is the transcript.
Sword.
Sword. No R. If you did R, you'd be articulating it the American way. It's sword. Sword. Okay. Next word.
Sword.
Sword. Sorry. The next word.
Somebody's asking Siri for help.
For help with what?
One of the audience was asking Siri for help with the word.
Okay, with the word sword. Sword. Okay, the next word.
Audience.
Ayanda, don't help anyone.
No, I'm not. Audience, give it a try.
Audience.
Team. Team.
Okay, someone else. Okay, the word is theme, not team. And many pastors in Nigeria are guilty of this inability to articulate the fricative. This is how it's written in English speech sound. Your tongue sticks through your upper and lower teeth. Teeth. The same way you will not say, if you said my teeth, you are wrong. My teeth. So the first sound here carries the fricative. It is theme. Theme. Can I hear you say theme?
Team.
Theme.
Theme.
Team.
Theme, not team.
Theme.
Okay.
Theme.
Good. That person needs a lot of work, but it's possible. Very possible to get there. The next word. Can I hear you say this?
Luxury. Luxury.
Luxury.
Luxury. Luxury. It's not luxury. Don't luxury it, my brother. It is luxury. Luxury.
Luxury.
Luxury. Now there is this word.
Luxury. Wow.
Yeah, luxury, you got it. The next word is SOOT. This is what happens as a result of air pollution. And when I first learned this word, I would go soot, but it is salt. I want to run through the words now so I can take questions. So when you find that word again, SOOT, it is salt, not salt. Salt, not soot. Salt, not soot. Now the next word, WRAT each. Where are my MFM people? The wrath of God will fall upon my enemies. The wrath of God, it is not rats. It is wrath.
Yes.
Wrath. Will you find that sound again? So
remember the TH. The TH at the end is wrath.
Wrath. And it is not wrath. It is not this sound, the short R, but this sound, wrath. Wrath. Okay, so transcription is another course entirely. We can't go through learning the speech sounds today. Now the next word is
Bukola, we just have another 5 minutes just for your.
Okay, the next word is gesture, not gesture. Gesture, not gesture. The next word is ad hoc. You know, our government is in the practice of always setting up all those short-term committees. And we say ad hoc committee. In fact, some people will ad hoc it. Ad hoc committee, it is ad hoc. Ad hoc committee. Ad hoc. I think it means temporary, short-term. Tyranny. Very tyrannical leader. Okay, tyranny. It is tyranny, not tyranny. But it could be tyrannical. But it is tyrannical. But it is tyranny. Pressure. We haven't gotten to pressure. Garage, not garage. New garage. You know, in Lagos where I live, there's a bus stop. I can't remember which area of Lagos it's in now, but it's called New Garage. But if you get to that bus stop, you're in public transport and you want to alight, make sure you tell them New Garage. Don't say New Garage because they'll be wondering what you're saying. Okay, so it's garage, but for the purpose of communication, just ensure you say New Garage or garage when you are in public. Then there is pressure. It's pressure, not pressure, and it's not prayer. It's pressure. The word is pressure. There is pastor. A lot of us say my pastor. It's pastor. There is biscuit. A lot of people say biscuits. It's biscuit. Okay. There is oil. Many people say oil. And some would say oil. They leave out the lateral, but it is oil. Oil. There is data. Data is very critical in the digital age. It is not data. But the Americans will say data. But we speak the British English, so it's data. The same word is parastatal. Government parastatals. It is not parastata. So please note, colleague, it is not colleague. Colleague. The stress is on the first sound. Colleague. Messiah, not Messiah. Messiah is the King of Kings. It's Messiah. There is surety. The judge ordered him to provide 2 sureties and like sum. In Nigeria, they would say shorty. It's not shorty. It's not shorty. It's surety. It's surety.
That's laughable.
Okay, it's surety. It's reconnaissance. Reconnaissance, not
reconnaissance. We say reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance.
Yes.
Okay, now if you go to England and you are visiting a particular place for the first time, it's spelled Leicester. It's not Leicester, but Leicester. Again, if you went to England for the first time and you were visiting Edinburgh, it's Edinburgh, not Edinburgh. It's spelled Edinburgh, but it's Edinburgh. Okay. Challenge. It's challenging and it's a challenge, it's not challenge. Not it's challenging. It's challenge and it's challenging. Yes. So 2, I learned 2 in the last 24 hours while preparing for this class. ALMOND is almond. The fruit or the nut is almond, not almond. Almond. The same thing with SALMOND. SALMOND. Salmon, not salmon. Salmon. Indicted. 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 He was indicted in the $800 million power probe. It's indicted, not indicted. The K sound is silent. Indicted. Now, in Nigeria, we prepare fried rice a lot for Christmas, and we use a particular vegetable. It's called cucumber, but my people call it cucumber. So if you call it cucumber, let today be the last time you would call it cucumber. It's cucumber. Nice. Cucumber. Okay. ETC. Till yesterday, I would say etc. But it is etc.
Yes.
Etc. Etc. Okay. Word, world, WORD, WORLD has the long as in her. HER for female, her. But some people would say word. Some people would say word. The word of God is very, very critical in this matter. It is word and it is world. When articulating WORLD, don't lose your lateral. Your lateral is the l. And I listed a long list of words that have a lot of laterals in them that we more often than not leave out in communication, and it makes us sound pedestrian. So it is world. But there are some words that you don't need the lateral. The lateral is silent. There are a number of them, 3. Could, would, should. So it's not could, it's not would, it's not should. Could, would, should. Now there is a word, the English language is very unpredictable. Even I go the American route, but I repent from today because I always teach people to go the British route. It is lieutenant, but I so love lieutenant. Lieutenant is American, lieutenant is English. There is no F in that word, but somehow the British want us to call it lieutenant. Is L-I-E-U-T-E-N-A-N-T, lieutenant. Okay.
But Bukola, you used an American word now, route, whereas the British call it route.
Route, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. British, thank you. Okay. The words that have the lateral as in the final position that we always eliminate and we sound pedestrian. There's nothing wrong with sounding pedestrian, but in formal settings, when you speak, sometimes they know that you have been trained. So federal, local, focal, central, vital, fickle, little. I'll do that again. Federal, local, focal, central, vital, fickle, little. But a lot of people do federal, local, focal, the focal point of this discussion. Focal, central, vital, fickle is a product of your fickle imagination. Don't do those anymore after today. So make sure you do federal, local, central, vital, fickle, little. Now there's some words as simple as 1 syllable, monosyllabic words, but we miss the pronunciations. Like big, fix, fit. I referred to them earlier. So a lot of us do big, feet, fix. I will fix it. It's fix, fit, big. Okay, I think I've exhausted. Now the last set of words, it's tricycle, not tricycle. Tricycle, it's student, not student. Student, it's educates. Educate, not educates. Educate, it's informative. Informative, not informative. And some people would do information. And when I posted a video, someone said, even I sound British, that I'm not sounding natural. And I nicely took exception. I don't sound British. I'm sure a lot of people listening would attest to the fact that I don't sound British. I speak using the British RP. The RP is called the British Received Pronunciation, but with my own regional identity, my own regional sound. So I sound very, very Nigerian, but using the British RP in communication. So some people would do information. When you listen to the British or the American, they have a natural sing-song tone to their delivery, which we don't have. The Nigerians speak in a very, from my own observation in my study of accents, Nigerians speak in a very, very straightforward, nearly toneless manner. That's the way the Nigerians speak. But the British have a natural sing-song tone to their delivery. So it is informative, it is information. Information. More often than not, the British could do information, but it's information. It's university, not university. Some people articulate the first sound, the first vowel sound that begins that word. They say university, but it's university. And the ER after the V is the long so it's university, not university. We're almost there, we're almost wrapping up. Curfew, curfew, not curfew, curfew. Fuel, fuel, F-U-E-L, fuel. Petrol, not petrol, petrol scarcity, petrol. And restaurant, restaurant. Okay, I think that does it. So remember the words of Winston Churchill. For those of you who have speech defects, or those of you who think I can never speak like Ayanda, I can never speak like Bukola, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Now, Albert Einstein also says, creativity is intelligence, having fun. So if you're doing whatever you're doing and you're happy doing it and you're having fun, that's creativity. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Africunia TV, for this opportunity. Thank you, Ayanda. You've been a wonderful, gracious host. You've made my job very easy. And thank you to the Africunia team. God bless you.
Whoa! That was so much fun, Bukola. That was so much fun. I mean, you can see my cheeks are hurting from all the laughter. Thank you so much. That was fun. That was so informative, that what you've just shared. And I think a lot of us are going to practice what you've taught us today. A nice way of ending with Winston Churchill, because, you know, he always said, never give up, never give in. So all of you listening and watching, don't get frustrated when you find that you're not getting the articulation right. Keep going, never give up, and never give in. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, Bukola, I think all of us are now rearing to like put you on the spotlight and ask our questions to you and learn a bit more. So quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
And there is one.
Yes, go ahead.
Just before we go for that break, there is one more video that we haven't shown. If there is no time, I totally understand, because it's 7 minutes long. If there's no time, I understand. But if there's time, we can also learn from that video.
Okay, so what we can do is that let's go to a quick commercial break. If we can probably play 2-3 minutes of the video, and then you can talk about the remainder of it, and then we'll take some questions from the audience, as I don't want to take away any more time from the audience. Yeah, quick commercial break. We'll be right back, everyone.
All right.
Oh my God, he proposed to you.
And we're back with the amazing Bukola Coca Samuel-Wemimo. I love how you pronounce the name with such, you know, presence and charisma. We just enjoyed that, and I'm sure the audience can attest. They also enjoyed that a lot. It's time for audience questions, but before we do, let's share a short clip that Bukola shared with us to give us an idea of what she's referring to when she's talking about articulation and elocution, and thereafter we'll put her in the hot seat and pose our questions to her. Madeline, can we play the video quickly, please? Do we have it?
I think I don't have it. I have a video with 3 minutes, but I think it's not this one, because this was the advertisement.
Okay, so let's just go. Let's go to the questions.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. So audience, it's time for the questions now with Bukola. So I'm going to start with my questions, and then thereafter we'll just raise your hands or put it in the chat if you'd like to, and please unmute so we can talk to Bukola directly. So Bukola, my first question is, you know, yes, I'm South African, but I'm currently based in Dubai, and it's a very multicultural environment, as you know, and with different accents. So what I find is that when I'm speaking to my Arabic peers or colleagues, I tend to change my accent to, you know, be more I think to be more relatable to them, and I end up speaking almost like broken English. How can one stop that? I mean, is that tip normal for most people? And how do we stop ourselves to, from going from being articulate, and when you're in a different environment because of people speaking differently, then downgrading the way you speak? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I don't think you're downgrading yourself. You're bringing down the quality of your persona because you speak differently when you want to relate with the people in your environment. You know, when I was speaking earlier, I was saying that there's a bus stop in Lagos called New Garage, but the word is garage. So if you find yourself in public transport and you are going to alight from that bus stop, just ensure you say New Garage. Because if you say garage, if you say New Garage, you miss that bus stop. The conductor will not hear what you're saying. Okay, and I always share this experience also whenever I'm teaching. There was a very long time ago, more than 10 years ago, I was on my way home, but I was going to stop by church for choir practice. And the name of my bus stop is Texaco. The word is Texaco, the oil company. They have a filling station just opposite the church. So the filling station is called Texaco, but it's also a bus stop. But people don't know it as Texaco. They know it as Texaco.
Yes.
And I went, I wasn't so, poised in my articulation of the word like I am now, Texaco, but I was more like Texaco, wow, Texaco, wow. But everybody just turned, I was like, who is it was like, what is she saying? Even the conductor did not even answer me. So you find yourself in an area where, in Lagos, where Texaco is a filling station, just jejely in Nigerian parlance means wisely or gently say Texaco wow, Texaco deo. Communication, there's communication for communication, and there is communication for training. There is a very popular German company in Nigeria that has been here for a very long time, and they get most of the contract on infrastructure. That company is called Julius Berger. So as a result of their long presence in the country, they have had places named after them. A very popular one is a bus stop not quite far from where we are now, where I am now. It's called Baga bus stop. When I find that word in delivery as a news anchor, I would say Berger bus stop, but also known as Baga bus stop. Communication, because some people would not know if you said Berger, Julius Berger. So just deploy the two words, one for training, for education, because broadcasting has a three-pronged approach to educate, inform, and entertain. So for education, for training, you tell the people it's Berger, Julius Berger. But for those who don't know it's Berger, who haven't had the benefit of education, let them know it is also known as Baga. So I don't think it brings down, it doesn't bring down the quality of your person. I love your Trevor Noah, who is in my video, and I'm hoping we can play. He can switch, he can transit so easily, so conveniently in between all South African accents and most English variations of English accents. Either you're speaking English as a Russian, as an American, as a British, as a French person. So it's understanding your environment. Trevor defines accents as learning to speak other people's language, but with the rules of yours. Wow. So you don't lose yourself while learning other people's language or accent.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. That was a great, answer and feedback. And I love that. It actually helped me link it back to what you said at the beginning when you said it's about clarity, not necessarily accuracy. So I think that's what you've just spoken about defines it completely, that rather be clear if it means you have to explain it in the way they understand than worry about accuracy of how you're pronouncing. So thank you so much. That was a great answer. Audience, it's your turn. I don't want to hog the spotlight. Next question. Who's up next?
So I have a question for you. I have a colleague and he has a problem to say exponential. So how can I learn him that word?
Say that word again.
Exponential. Maybe myself I say it wrong, but X like X, and then coin like coin, and shell, the ending of financial. Yeah, so exponential.
Okay.
So how can you help my colleague to pronounce it properly?
I'm hearing that word for the first time.
It's a brand.
Exponential. Okay. Some words that have the EX are sounded as ig. Some words that have the EX, we'll have to check this, but this is a coinage, so it should be exponential or exponential. Show. Yeah, exponential or exponential. Exponential should be easier for you. Exponential should be easier for you as against exponential.
So X is coming from exchange, maybe so that you understand the word, yeah? Exponential.
So
yeah.
Exchange, yeah. Exchange, so exponential. Are you comfortable saying exponential?
Yes.
Yeah, exponential. A secret to learning to articulate words very well with dexterity, with adeptness, is practice. There are no two ways about it. Practice, practice, practice. I just learned to articulate the name of a traditional ruler in the country. And the day I was taught, I went, the first, I just kept doing it, whenever I had time to myself.
Wow.
Because that's the only way. Yeah. Practice, practice, practice.
Wow.
By the way, your exponential is without T. Is a C.
Okay. Coinential.
Sorry, I didn't saw it. Yeah, exactly. From financial in the end. Yeah, exactly.
Exponential. Okay. Next question. You're welcome.
Next question, audience.
Theophilus had a question.
Good afternoon.
Hi,
good evening.
yes.
Thanks for the class. Actually, I learned a lot, and I want to say I love your work from conception. I could remember the time you did an interview with the former Vice President of Nigeria, in the person of Atiku Abubakar, where you interviewed him, and he said, you asked him, he said he has stopped womanizing. I mean, he does not drink, he does not smoke, and he has stopped womanizing. That was the very first time I caught you. I was caught.
That's not
caught,
me.
You understand?
That's not my program, by the way. That's not my program.
Okay, fireworks, I think. Is it fireworks?
No, it's not fireworks. That's the Sunday interview.
Okay, Sunday interview, right? But I've always seen your work, and I've actually admired it, and I've loved it as well. So you talked about tone or the pitch when it comes to newscasting. For example, when you're talking of something exciting and something sad, and the tonality, the way you pronounce them, or the way you express them, the pitch. So I was now like, I'm of the opinion like, can't it be done in a way that you then organize the news depending according to the expression, or to the mood, or to the news itself. For example, if you're having a sad news, you can have a section for sad news. We're having exciting news or interesting news, as in for the tonality or for the speech itself. It's just I'm just thinking out. So I want to hear your opinion of that. That's it. Thank you.
Great point. And in the newsroom, in newsroom production practice, there is something called alignment. And that's why as a broadcast journalist, as a television anchor or a radio news reader, you have to be part of the production process. So you know all the scripts for the day, like you know the back of your hand. But then again, you're human. So what if they change the alignment? Or what if you forget, or you forgot, as the case may be, that it is the obituary script that is coming next, and you've just finished a very, very happy bulletin, a very, very happy script, so to speak, a happy story. So you have to transit. You have to prepare yourself to change your countenance from that moderate, happy expression to a serious, solemn expression, so to speak. As soon as, that's why I said your eyes must go faster than your mouth. Always, always. Your eyes must go faster, read faster than your mouth. So we use a teleprompter. As you're landing on the last script, you see the header for your next script. You must change your countenance if it's a sad script. If it's a story about Boko Haram kidnapping 30 girls or an update on Chibok girls, you have to very quickly change your countenance. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Yes, it did. Thank you.
Bukola, I guess it comes with experience, right? I mean, it's not that simple. I think it comes with experience to be able to do that.
Experience and discipline. You have to be disciplined. Many news anchors are not part of the production process, and it's really sad. You know, some think they've arrived because they're adept at news reading, they're the best newscasters, they've won awards. No, you have to be part of the production process. You have to be able to deliberate with your lead producer and say, okay, can we align this? That means you know about the stories of the day. Can we do a realignment? You know, can this story come before this story? What can we do to update this story? You know, so these are some of the issues guiding and shaping news production behind the scenes from what you see that will bring to you as the final product.
Thank you for that insight.
Next question.
So is that to say that in alignment, like you could allow interesting stories or stories? I was saying that in alignment, is it that you could allow interesting stories come first? That is stories that as okay, how do I put it now? Happy, like your like I don't know if you
okay. Permit me to take it from you, from here. Alignment simply means putting first the stories of greater magnitude, of greater importance ahead of stories of lesser importance.
Okay.
So you'll see that, for instance, the president, God forbid, the president died today. It will be the lead story. For instance, the president resigned today. You know, it will be the lead story. You know, followed by the reactions trailing that story. This is the reaction coming from other presidents from other South African countries, from other African countries or from other world leaders. You know, the reactions would follow, and then you could now go to how the economy is faring as a result of the president's resignation. You know, from there, you could now go to health. From there, you could go to, other lighter stories. From there, you could now go to business. Then from business, you could now go to sports and then entertainment. So that's what alignment really is. Alignment is arranging your stories in order of importance, simply put. Does that answer your question, Theophilus?
Yes, ma'am. Then,
okay, next question.
Something the other time.
Oh, thank you.
No, Theophilus, I think he had another question. Go ahead, Theophilus.
Okay, you said something the other time that for people who have speech defects, that they shouldn't look down on themselves.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? Okay, so
yes.
Take for instance a broadcast journalist. Someone is a broadcast journalist and has speech defects. So would you say that the person should still keep up with the speech defect, or you're meant to work on yourself because you are broadcasting?
Absolutely. You just must work on yourself. You must train. You must improve. I didn't know diction. I didn't know fix. I didn't know fit. I didn't know mission. I didn't know all these things. I didn't know features of connected speech as far back as, in fact, 3-4 years after I started broadcasting. All I had was raw talent and intellect and passion and commitment. But I picked myself up from youth service. As soon as I finished youth service, I went in search of training and I trained. And I learned training beyond application on the field as a reporter, as a news anchor. I learned training to teach. So today I can boast of my abilities in presentation, in reportorial, in production, in teaching. So you just, and this point is particularly important because some of our colleagues are reporters. In fact, they're exceptional reporters. But you know what? When they bring their stories home, when I say home now, to the headquarters, from wherever they are, outstation, from whatever state of the federation, their stories are voiced by other presenters. Why? Because they have some speech defects that the management decision would rather not have put out as a voiceover because of their inability to communicate effectively with their own type of reading skills or the lack of it. For instance, I was on set one day. I was to conduct a live interview amid the news, and a report came in, and the interviewee was complaining on our behalf that there are people in your station that know how to read. Why not have them read this script? This is a very bad reader. So as a broadcast journalist, you must train. I have trained thrice over at the National Broadcast Academy. And as much as I've done a 3-time training experience at different times, I'd love to go back to train yet again, even now. So you just must train. You must keep acquiring knowledge. You must keep improving on yourself. Can't get it as a broadcast journalist.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Bukola. Interesting. The session has been interesting. Yeah, so I was actually looking forward to you making emphasis on the word R. You agree with me, some, particularly in Nigeria, particularly the Westerner, some people don't know how to pronounce the word R properly, or probably you didn't highlight that in your presentation. But
I did.
My question, really? Oh, okay, possibly. So I think for me, what you have done so far, interestingly, is, but I won't say it's relatable to oral English, phonetics, and all of that. I want to say because in the school curriculum, particularly at secondary school level, we know we have a section for oral English, and this I would say all this problem emanated from people's how will I say people the way people take this aspect of English. With statistics, we realize that a lot of students don't value so much oral English, and from what you have highlighted today, and you will find out that a lot of people just have to learn in the hard way. So I feel, what's your point of view? What do you think the government can do more? Because I feel if everybody take oral English seriously, speech defects, there will be a reduction in speech defects. We can't undermine that some are natural and some are hereditary as well, but some are possibly by environmental influence or where they have stayed for a while, and it's results to adaptation to this style of communication. So, what do you think we can do individually as a community, particularly the government? Because you cited an example of your child, you know, some words he wasn't able to communicate at some point, but being a speech therapist to some extent, you're able to detect that and influence the right way of communication. And sometimes a lot of cost implication, particularly for some people who can't afford a speech therapist. So what do you think we can do individually and
I think you have answered your own question. The government can't do anything, first of all. It all depends on you. A lot of it is a product of your environment. It's a product of, in fact, your mother tongue. That's why, as a result, I would say, don't beat up yourself if you have a speech defect, like, would I say R now, for instance? The rhoticism. And by the way, I talked about the R, which is the rhoticism. I talked a lot about it. The French have it, and the Sierra Leoneans have it. There was an article published recently by the BBC, and they took us back to when the BBC first started. At that time, the only English allowed on the BBC World Service was the Queen's English. As time went on, according to the report, the BBC began to allow more native speakers on the World Service to reflect color and an inclusive outlook of the first traditional medium of broadcasting. So, and even back home here, I used to say that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. When we had our international arm, which is now defunct, TVC News Africa, when you would allow regional English speakers who had strong accents, voice their reports, and then those with strong accents back home, you would say, no way. And I would say, please, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You understand? So there's some that you cannot help. Some of my colleagues that I respect a lot they don't even have clear expression as that of an intern. They have strong affectation, but they're some of the best journalists around. So I don't think you should beat up yourself if your affectation is so bad that you think it's hopeless, or you have, speech defect, which is hereditary. The most important thing is for you to be so exceptional at your field that you cannot be ignored. One of the wealthiest men in Africa has an affectation. If I'm not wrong, I'm not quite sure if his is as bad as that of the president, who would say zafiful, but he does have an affectation. But he can pay all of us here. He can pay our bills for the next 10 years. So the important thing is for you to be exceptional at whatever you do. Exceptional at whatever you do. And if you think it is very important for you to learn to speak right, then get training. It's possible. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal, as Winston Churchill wants us to believe. So there is, in fact, the person who gave me my first lesson in elocution, or if you like, news reading, he said he had a serious H intrusion and omission problem. His Yoruba accent was deep, was thick, was heavy. But he was one that taught me to read news at the onset before I went to the training school. That's evidence of passion, of commitment to self-improvement. He wanted to become better and he became better. So we can all become better. We can't give up on ourselves and we can't judge ourselves either because we're original English speakers. I told you earlier on that even a British guy
Bukola, are you there? Hello? Bukola? Are you still with us? Bukola?
Probably network issue, right?
Possibly. Well, I think we can go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, hopefully we can take one last question and then do a quick summary with Bukola and wrap up for the evening. Thank you once again for your patience, audience. I know that we started a bit late, but thank you for being with us. So let's go to a quick commercial break. Then we come back. Hopefully Bukola will be with us again. And we can take one last question and then do a quick wrap up and summary and hopefully end up with some nice music to round off a very light, fun, and very informative session with Samuel-Wemimo. So quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Stop to bring us into stop selling a mina wa country. Stop supporting the bad politic. Stop telling us your story about democracy. Because all we want is our freedom, yeah. Africa wants it with responsibility. We want our freedom. We want our freedom, yeah. We want our freedom, Africa. We want our freedom, yeah, yeah. We want to live independently, to create ourselves independently, yeah. If that no possible, we will populate your continent. If it is the contrary, we will continue to come here, yeah. Spend the day in the desert on the ship, and you will continue to treat us like no paper. That's why I'm saying we want our freedom here, yeah. Stop to refuse us, to reject us, to deport us, yeah, yeah. We want our freedom. We want our freedom, yeah. We want our freedom, Africa. We want our freedom, yeah, yeah.
Africa, Africa, tosale lande kimya, totika kobunda, totika koswana, otozala bana tata moko, toyokana, tosalisana, tolingana, oh
parlez pas les mêmes phrases. Combien de temps l'Afrique sera toujours enfermée là, pendant que les autres sont toujours en train d'avancer. Nous sommes toujours en train de reculer. On veut liberté. We want our freedom. We want our freedom. Yeah. We want our freedom, Africa. We want our freedom. Yeah, yeah. Ce morceau est dédicacé à l'un des grands combattants africains, son honorable, le cher Thomas Sankara, qui s'est battu pour l'Afrique, pour sa liberté. La patrie, on vaincra.
And we're back again after that very lively commercial break from Makombe. And Bukola Wemimo is back with us again. Technical difficulty today, Bukola, but we've managed to get through them. So we will just take one last question, if you don't mind, Bukola, and then we will, wrap up. You give your key takeaways to our audience, and then we will say good night and let everyone go and enjoy their weekend. So audience, one last question before we give the chance to Bukola to wrap up. Do we have one last question? Anyone? No? Okay, well, it's been a long night, I can understand. If there's anybody who still has a question, please let us know. Otherwise,
what
yes,
about
hello?
the chat window? Are there any questions in the chat window?
No, not in the moment. In the moment, we don't have question. Maybe from somebody from the audience.
You have one last question for Bukola from the audience?
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Yeah, okay. What I have to say now is not actually a question, just kind of contribution, if you'd allow me to say. Okay. While I was in secondary school, in relation to oral English, while I was in secondary school, this person was taking us in phonetics, phonediction. So the way she pronounced this word, mosquito, she said mosquito. What she pronounced it as was mosquito. And me being a student, I just took it. Oh, my phonetics teacher has said this. So me and my other classmates were pronouncing it. So not until I went to check the dictionary. Because I was speaking with someone, the person was like, what did you just say? And I was like, mosquito. So not until I had to verify in the dictionary and transcription before I now found out that, this phonetics teacher was actually wrong. So what I also want to say is that whenever we learn things, we should always make efforts to verify whatever it is we have learned, so we won't end up embarrassing ourselves in the public. I hope you get what I was trying to say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
As a teacher yourself, you're also in the business of learning. So there must be that extra that you have to contribute. So come to your audience or your learning group with information, you have to cross-check. And your teacher is not alone. I've had to make a mistake myself too. At a training program not too long ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, no matter how adept you are or how fantastic your diction is, there are uncountable words in the English dictionary. So you don't know all the pronunciations. You must cross-check them. So I taught the group plate instead of plat. The word is That's the verb of the action of making hair. So I taught the audience plait instead of plait, but the word is plait as I got to find out later on. So it's a tragedy for an oral English teacher to teach the wrong thing. But it happens, you know, everywhere. I've had to correct my sons who would come home and say pencil, just because the word is spelled P-E-N-C-I-L. It's not pencil, it's pencil, pencil, you know. So they're all manner of things that we find in our educational system today. But we have to be, our minds must be like a sponge, be able to absorb and keep absorbing. So you have to just keep learning and developing yourself. That way, the word is almond, not almond. I got to know it's salmon, it's salmon, not salmon. So learning is a daily experience. It's a lifelong mission.
Absolutely. And with that, audience, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for questions for Bukola. I understand that we, you know, may have run over a little bit of time and started late, but thank you so much for being patient and waiting and being part of this session today. Bukola, thank you so much. That really was entertaining. It was so much fun. And I wish we had the whole day with you for you to be able to, you know, teach us a little bit more. I think you are so articulate yourself. I mean, just listening to you, I'm thinking, I hope one day I can sound as good and as, you know, articulate and well structured than you. But just want to give you 1 minute to summarize, and part of your summary, if you could just answer one last question for me. Do you have a ritual that you do prior to going on set and, you know, going live? Is there a ritual that you do? So 1 minute or 2 minutes to do your summary, and just if you could answer that, it'd be interesting to know.
Maybe not often enough, but before I go on set sometime, I always tell myself I'm the best. I'm a Christian, you know, so sometimes I would say I'm the best and I'm going to be the best, you know, the sort of psyching myself up, like a mind therapy thing. And then sometimes I ask the Holy Spirit to help me make this journey, this 1 hour journey, no bumps. Let it just flow. Quality beyond what I know, beyond what I can do, beyond my abilities, you know, that extra help. I always ask the Holy Spirit to help me. So I do that, but maybe not often enough. You know, sometimes maybe you just came from the ladies and you're just running to set and you just, you know, just get the job done and earn your salary for the day. So maybe not often enough, but I do that once in a while. Sometimes it's just to tell myself, you are the best. You are the best of the best. You are the best that can possibly be at this time. So just go for it. Do it and do it exceptionally well. I do that, you know, sometimes.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So 1 or 2 key points from you as we wrap up.
It's just to reiterate that accents are not a measure of intelligence. They're not. Just because I can speak seamlessly and clearly, I have a great diction, does not mean I'm very, very intelligent. There are people who I honor, who I admire, who I doff my hat for any day, anytime when I meet them, and they don't have great accents. You know, and some of them are in my field. So they're not a measure of intelligence. The most important thing is knowledge, is substance and confidence. You know, we say in presentation that we're saying absolute balderdash, but because you're saying it so confidently, the unsuspecting, without knowledge of the field that you're addressing, may not know. And they'll be like, wow, you know, so knowledge is key. Continue to self-improve,
seek opportunities to get better, read books every day. Our jobs these days, the journalism profession can be so consuming that there is no time to read, but just find time. Sometimes I find 30 minutes, 1 hour to read before I retire for the night. So find time to read. A broadcaster is someone that knows a little bit about everything. That's what we see about broadcasters. We have knowledge of a little bit about everything. And sometimes everything about one subject. That's a whole lot of responsibility. When I first started hearing it, when I, was a greenhorn, it sounded like a huge task that I couldn't accomplish. But when I was given the challenge of fireworks, that's when I began to apply that. You're going to interview the Chairman House Committee on Budget and Appropriation. You have to be prepared. So I get on the subject. I look for events predating that budget year, for actors in that committee before the person came in on the scene. I look for everything. So that, challenge to broadcasters came alive to me when I was given a responsibility to interpret a unique program, which today everyone knows me for, fireworks. So you just have to keep, seeking and digging for knowledge. I hope with these few words of mine, I have been able to convince you and not confuse you that journalism is the best profession in the world.
Amazing, amazing. To be honest, I think a lot of people who are looking at you now are thinking that they would love to probably venture into that field and become as, and I like what you said earlier, it's not necessarily just for journalism. It could be for public speaking purposes. It's just to be able to improve yourself and be a better communicator, especially in this world, which is becoming more and more connected globally. So thank you so much, Bukola. Such an inspirational background and career, and really enjoyed having you with us today. Learned so much from you, and I'm sure the audience watching, especially a big audience on Facebook, are learning a lot from you. We thank you for your time today. Audience, thank you so much for being part of this session today. Thank you for your participation. We hope that you enjoyed that and learned a lot and took away some very great takeaways from our facilitator about continuous self-improvement. And in our aim to help you with that continuous self-improvement, keep a lookout on social media. Follow us for future masterclasses where we will continue to bring you quality content and insights as we look forward to fostering an enlightened global community. On behalf of the Masterclass Initiative, Africunia TV, I've been your host, Ayanda Morpani, like I was taught today. It was such a pleasure to be here with all of you. Until next time, be well, stay safe, and again, keep a lookout on social media for all the future events that we may have. Thank you, and we're gonna end up with some really good music and wishing you all a wonderful weekend. And Bukola, keep rising, keep shining, and keep being a firework.
You too. Bye, everybody. Madam. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Leave me today, I go cry you a river. Hey. No be today, your body they give me fever. I go love you, no stopping. We steady celebrating champagne Bobby. Oh baby, no time to the shake time. Cause now you
So thank you, Bukola, once more. In the name
Well
of the
done.
Africunia ecosystem, everybody is gone. So I wish you a nice weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Same to you.